All right, everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of The Providers. This week we've got Steve Akright hanging out in the studio with us. Steve, how you doing?
Hey, what's up? Doing good, doing good.
This is going to be a fun episode. We are starting to talk about the beginning of deer season and some other fun stuff that goes with the beginning of September. This is going to be a good one.
Sitting in my tree stand, watching the leaves land, praying for a little love. Cause it's opening day and us pass through boys looking to drag out a big old bug.
Man, weather's already changing, football's starting up, just getting that feeling going, just perfect time of the year.
You had a game this week, didn't you?
Yeah, my kid, he's a sophomore and he goes to a pretty big school and winds up starter on the varsity. So I'm pretty happy, pretty excited.
Well, it,
So
it helps that he's already bigger and taller and faster and stronger than Dad and all of his friends, so
yeah, we'll probably get into that a little bit later in this episode.
we might have to talk about a different UPS delivery guy.
He is dwarfing me right now. It's kind of crazy.
So what's been going on, man? It's been a long time since we started talking about doing something like this.
Yeah, it's crazy. You mentioned talking about the good old times and just reminiscing about things, and it's like just brings back all those feelings right away. And you always seem to talk me into situations, which sometimes get me into trouble, but it always usually works out pretty good. We usually have a pretty good time.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
And you're a good
Oh,
salesman, so you selling me on doing this is kind of like making a sale to an addict. So it's
ex-
pretty easy sale, I think.
I was gonna say I know who I can grab when I need him in a pinch. So, oh man. So we were just laughing because in my mail this past weekend I got the Bass Pro Shops hunting catalog, and I was just telling you before we hit record on this how I took a quick glance at it and was like, I'm pretty sure I have everything in this catalog that I could ever need.
Yeah, what's funny about that is I've got a buddy at work that keeps asking me about hunting, and he's interested in it. And Ron has a girlfriend right now, and his girlfriend has a son who's 12, I think, and just picked him up a crossbow, and he's all excited and wanting to go. And man, I just think of everybody starting out and all the gear that you have to accumulate. And when you're starting out, you just got to start out, like, just get what you can and get out there. And then it's unfortunately it's an expensive sport, like, and that's just even if you just think of deer. I'm into waterfowl and fishing and deer hunting and rabbit hunting, and it's just unbelievable the amount of money it takes just in gear alone. But sitting back as a 46-year-old man, now I've got it's just accumulated over the years, and it's more of dealing with the wife saying, "Where are you going to put all this shit?"
And I can remember, like, when I first got into hunting, I was younger than, well, actually, I was older than most of you guys were when you started. So my brother started taking me out when I was 15, 16 years old. But him being 10 years older than me, he had all the camo I could put on, and he had the extra shotgun for me to use for my first couple whitetail hunts and stuff. So I was lucky in that regard. But I think of somebody trying to start out now, and it is crazy. Number one, the amount of stuff that gets pushed towards you that you believe you have to hunt. And number two, the cost of all of it has just absolutely skyrocketed. And I think it intimidates a lot of people that they can't get into it if they're just starting out, which is sad.
Yeah, yeah, it truly is. And if you do have kids, starting them out young is such an advantage. I mean, just for their knowledge of the woods, but also with all the gear. I mean, every year it's like Christmas comes around and your kid's like, oh, well, maybe I need a new camo jacket, or maybe I need some new boots, or, just getting some little things and having it accumulate, or a tree stand, or, you know, um, just little minor things. It's Sam, being huge now, got this trigger release. So we were down in Ohio, and it's a youth hunt down there. And Jay's son Logan, who's what, he's 21, 22 now.
Yeah, I think it's 21.
He's shooting his bow, and Sam's curious, and Sam's 15 now, so he was 14 then, and he's curious on what Logan's got going on, and he had this thumb release. Sam says, well, how's that work? Let me look at it. Let me shoot it. And then the whole ride home from Ohio, all he did was look up this trigger release, and I'll call it a trigger. It's a thumb release, right? And it was going to be the game changer for him, and that it was just, he was hooked on it, and that's all he could think about. Well, Christmas, he says, this is what I want.
What's the cost on this, Steve?
Yeah, he went top of the line. $350, something ridiculous, right? So this is the one thing he wants. Well, it's great. It's added to him, he's got more confidence with it. And of course, this year, he's a giant. He bought they come in 3 sizes. So it's like a medium, large, extra large, or something like that, right? So he gets the one in the middle. And Sam is now 6'2", 240. Huge. His hands are huge. So we're in the yard, and I'm like, you need to get your bow out and practice a little bit. So he takes a couple shots, and then he says, oh, man, this thing's a little bit tight. It's a little bit small. Dad, why don't you try shooting it? Shouldn't have done that. So I shoot it with his bow, and I was dead on. Now, his bow it's not a bad bow, but it's a beginner bow that's made to grow with him. I should not be this accurate with this bow. So then, of course, I take it out my bow, and I start shooting with it. I've actually been shooting with it without him knowing. And now I'm hooked on this damn thing. And so, yeah, probably before season here, I'm going to be buying a freaking $300 thumb release just so that he can have one that fits a little better for him. So
You're
whatever.
now in a full car payment to be able to
Yeah.
release your bow with your thumb, is
Yeah,
what you're trying
just
to
to
tell
get
me.
my kids hand-me-down things that are too small for him.
And I'm the polar opposite because my daughter's just getting excited about it, and she's 12, and I bought her clothes when she was 9, and she put them on the other day, and they're all 6 inches too short. So now it's back to buying more clothes, knowing full well that in another 2 or 3 years, it's going to be buying another set of camouflage so she can go. But it's just, it seems like it's a vicious cycle. If we're not buying it for us, we're buying it for the kids. And um,
I
luck-
felt bad because for years I've been doing this fishing trip up north, and we put waders on, we wade out into Lake Michigan, and we catch smallmouth bass, and it's a blast. Sam absolutely loves fishing. I held him off because I said, I don't want to keep buying waders every year that are $150 a crack because you're just going to keep outgrowing them. So I finally pull the trigger and say, all right, you're old enough to go. I did this like 2 years ago. Bought him a set of waders. I think that were a size 9. He's now a size 13. So that kind of backfired on me.
I'll buy the waders off you. It'll be okay.
Just crazy. But, somebody new getting into the sport is like, it could be overwhelming. But I think they have to know that it's a the longevity thing, each
It's a
piece.
marathon. It's not a sprint trying to
Yeah,
get there. I mean, we're
exactly.
30 years into buying gear at this point,
Right.
and we can finally look at a catalog and say, I think I have everything I need. But yet we still find a way to spend money in the off season, like buying $300 thumb releases for our bow. So
It is a game changer. I can't wait for you to try it.
I know, I want to shoot it too. And then I'm the idiot that went out and bought an e-bike, or an electric bike. So I got something you got to play with in a little bit here too.
Living now, lay down, close our eyes and go to sleep. We got a 135 outside in 20, and we're watching him through the peep.
It's the beginning of September. It's hard to believe here in Michigan. We're a month out. I just woke up this morning, was checking trail camera photos, and we got our first hardhorn deer. Just went out and checked. My fall food plot is finally kicking in with some winter rye, and the temps are changing, man. It's starting to feel like hunting season, that's for sure. As far as season plans go, what's your thoughts? Got any ideas in mind?
So I was thinking about this. I'm a waterfowl hunter and I'm a deer hunter. Nice part about waterfowl is it keeps you out of the woods until the prime season, right? Well, here's what happens year after year. And I bet there's a lot of guys that'll relate to this. And if you don't, it's just you haven't gotten to that spot yet in your relationship. So I'm married, have kids. Things are easier now because I'm on the downside with my kids being older. So I have a 15-year-old and a 20-year-old. My 15-year-old loves hunting. So he's my best excuse ever to go hunting now. So it's awesome. My wife is 100% in. When they were 5 and 10, a lot different story, right? So right now, going into season, I'm like, man, if you got something on a trail cam right now that's something that's a shooter that's nice, your best odds are early season. You better get on that thing right away. So in your head, you're like, I'm going to hunt it and I'm going to hunt it hard, right? Like you're going to go in strong. Then you're going to hit the lull of the season, but you're still like hanging on to something could still be there. So it's driving you crazy. So you keep going, you keep going, you keep pushing it. Then it gets to be November and you're going, now is the time. And by that time, you have spent a month of chasing, running, changing plans, canceling dinners, leaving the house, coming home late, having your friend Greg say, oh my gosh, I shot one. We got to go track it. Yep. Plans have changed, right? By November, your wife is done, right?
And we're just getting going.
Yeah. And that's the best time. You're like, no, not now. Don't do this to me now. This is the Mecca. This is the Super Bowl. I have to go. Now you're locked back into a corner.
Right.
Going, dude, this is my time. Like, this is what I've waited for. And she's going, you've used all of your time. So it's like, everybody thinks about planning out their season as far as, okay, when to do this, when to do that. But it, like, all of us just want to go and want to push. But you got to think it is our season, but there's a whole life going on outside of season. And sometimes that life comes back and nips you, and you don't want it to nip you right in prime rut.
Well, and when you think about it, like, you just look at deer season alone, at least here in Michigan, deer season's 3 months. So, we're only asking our wives for a quarter of the year to
right.
to half-ass be present to whatever we've got going on because we've got other things in mind. So it's it's a big ask of them, that's for sure. I mean, I can tell you, and we're going to hit on this here in the next couple episodes, our trip down to Ohio, we get back mid-November, and by like December of that same year, my wife's going, "Hey, what are the dates for Ohio next year?" Because she knows, number one, it's not an option we're going, so she'd rather just know. And number two, we got a plan because unlike you, we've got two young kids with a 12-year-old and a 8-year-old who are both playing soccer all fall and that kind of stuff. So she's got to get the kids to and from practices and games and all that if I'm going to be out in the woods, which is awesome that she's cool with it. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, we're only asking for a quarter of the year. Can't you throw us a bone a little bit? And if,
And what's hard on me is that, you know, yesterday being Labor Day, goose season started. I didn't go out. It's the opener. There's the most stupid birds of the year are going to come in, so it's a great hunt normally, but it's a holiday. So I assess that and go, you know what? I'm going to sit this one out, and I'm going to be with the family, and I'm gonna chill, and that's hard to do because I know that I will go hard when the time comes. So mid-October, in the lull of deer season, I'm going to be running and gunning for birds. And then it's going to amp me up for the rut, and we're going to go down to Ohio, and then we're going to come back, and it'll be opening day at gun, and it's running and gunning. And then at the end of that, I get excited for rabbits.
right?
So then I go rabbit hunting through March. You know what I mean? So it's like one thing after another, and it's just like, and then, it's easy for us to sit back and go, wait, what? This is what I love. What are you talking about?
Right. Yeah, and if I think about that all the time, like if our wives had a hobby that took them away for 5-6 hours a day to go out and do something multiple days a week, we'd be like, what in the is going on here? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So I guess overall we're pretty fortunate that we get the support that we get. But man, is it hard to have to try to dive around all the family shit to find the time when we want to be out there. So
I always figure like it's kind of like the analogy of if hunting was shopping, right? So she goes shopping, and then all of a sudden it's like you don't no, you can't explain the rut. Like you just can't, to a non-hunter, you just can't explain the rut.
right.
So the only thing I can come up with is think of Black Friday for like a week, and you have that window, and that's where you're gonna that's your shopping time. That's like the major, that's the only thing I could possibly relate to.
I'm never going to look at Amazon Prime Day the same again now. It's the women's rut.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Well, I'll tell you what, man, we are going to dive into some more fun stuff. Upcoming episodes, we've got Ohio to talk about. We've got the old Providers TV show to talk about, Pass-Through Productions, goose hunting, rabbit hunting. We got all kinds of fun stuff coming up. But for this week, I say we wrap it up. We'll be back with you guys next week.
Yeah.